disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. So I know we spent majority of the time discussing Joe Biden and horribleness of the political spectrum in the United States and the presidential debate that was a train wreck and how they're completely lying to themselves about how this guy is still capable of controlling the entire nation. Well, I thought I'd show you the other side of the same coin, because here in Canada, we feel your struggle. We feel your struggle that your leader, or so-called leader, is just a catastrophe orchestrated and cult together by deep state initiatives that are clearly falling apart. They're losing control of the narrative. That's why they're trying to silence and censor and put all these bills intact to try to silence people on social media. They don't want word to get out. They don't want information to spread. They don't want people to be acknowledged on how the deep state is controlling them, how the fact that this narrative is losing touch and control with the people, and everything's just coming to a complete catastrophe. Everything's coming to an end. So it's even so much that Politico decided to write up this article here about Justin Trudeau, because it says, if you think Biden has troubles, just look at Justin Trudeau. The Canadian Prime Minister's grim poll numbers stoke speculation about his future. Even Politico is gonna grill about this. They said he has trailed in the polls by double digits for nearly a year, and the outlook for the once popular prime minister is so grim that some old liberal guards have been grumbling that maybe he should step down and give someone else a shot to turn around and win a fourth term. Trudeau has less than 17 months before he must hold an election and face off against an ascendant Conservative Party and its firebrand populist leader, Pierre Poilievre. Trouble is, nothing he's tried so far to improve his standard has worked. All the times that he's tried to catapult himself away from the horrendousness of, the pandemic and lockdowns and being the mandate, taking away people's rights, putting Tamara Lynch in custody for basically organizing a peaceful protest, which is a right by Canadians and the rights of charters and freedoms. He hasn't gotten anything accomplished out of that. He is still the same narcissistic, evil, psychotic sociopath orchestrated by the WEF. Let's not forget, the WEF trained these people to infiltrate the cabinets, infiltrate governments within the countries. That was what Klaus Schwab even said directly to people. We took, Justin Trudeau and Emmanuel Macron and all these other people, all these horrendous schools, and we trained them. The Liberals have tried to basically throw the political kitchen sink at the Conservatives to find a way to narrow the gap, said Nick Nanos, one of the country's leading pollsters. Trudeau's difficulties, to some extent, mirror those of President Joe Biden and some Western European leaders facing populist rage in a world still struggling to shake off the inflation and lingering anger over pandemic lockdowns. Again, I wonder why that is. I wonder why so many countries act the same way. I wonder why they put so many mandates in these same areas. Could it be the fact that there's a global cabal that's actually controlling the world? No, that's too crazy. That's Alex Jones conspiracy tinfoil hat talk. Even though there's countless articles about it. But anyway, the long-serving leader in the G7 also has some unique problems, including fatigue with the Liberal Party after 3 terms and a series of scandals that damaged Trudeau's image. Many Canadians have simply turned out the Prime Minister, said Quito Maggie, a pollster with Main Street Research. It's a damage if you do, damned if you don't scenario for Trudeau, because it almost doesn't matter what he does or says right now, Maggie said. No one's listening. It's not the message, it's the messenger. Trudeau's efforts have included angering visits to Canada by Biden, as well as the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who received a standing ovation in Parliament. None of these things have changed the trend, Nano said. And let's not forget that that was followed by not 1, but 2 standing ovations to a Ukrainian Nazi. I don't want that. Again, I have to repeat that to people because I don't want that lost in space. I don't want that, memory hold for the rest of life. I want that documented in history that our entire parliament applauded a Nazi twice. A Nazi who has pillaged and killed Jewish and Polish citizens in World War II. And you think I'm going to give a damn about the Canadian government and their support of Jewish citizens in aiding a genocide against Palestinians? You think I'm going to care about the government? No. Because I know that you love Nazis. I know that you support Nazis. You support them in Ukraine. You brought them into this country. You gave them standing ovations. You award them medals. There's a Nazi statue in friggin' Oakville, Ontario. I didn't even know about that until literally covered it on the channel here when they did the standing ovation for the Ukrainian Nazi. There's literally a monument in Oakville, Ontario, declaring Nazis who killed innocent people in World War II in Oakville, Ontario. And you expect me to care? You expect me to believe that you give a shit about Jewish people? Unbelievable. Because if you actually listen to Jewish people, actual Jewish citizens for peace, they don't want this genocide. Nobody wants it. Unless you're a complete Zionist, which is completely farthest away from Judaism. But anyway, that's its own topic. The speculation over whether Justin Trudeau might step down at this point remains just that, with neither the Prime Minister nor any of his aides or allies saying that he's in any intention of throwing in the towel. But the moment he said he's going, he becomes a lame duck, and the leadership race breaks out. So it's in his interest to wait as long as possible before saying otherwise. Some think the window is closing on that option with just a month or two left. Otherwise, a new leader would not have enough time to be ready for the looming election, which could be triggered anytime before fall of 2025. At every turn, interviewers press Trudeau on whether he really plans to remain at the helm with the sinking ship, yet at every opportunity, he insists his plans to stick it out. The stakes are so high and the moment is so real, Trudeau told the Freakonomics radio podcast. Just like every typical neoliberal leader, the stakes are so high with this election. Democracy's at foot. You got go out there and vote. Vote for what? Democracy. Well, what about policy? Forget about that. We don't actually have solutions. We just have platitudes. That's an election for you. That's politics 101. That's the neoliberal establishment hat trick. They really just don't care. But here is how Trudeau is able to get away with this. And please, maybe some of his MPs that are thinking otherwise. Because also, while the tensions are high that Trudeau may be stepping down, here's what he's also implementing. This is very, very controversial in the fact that he is moving the election date. So it says, this is from National Post. Here are the 80 MPs set to qualify for a pension with the help of the Liberal rule change. Moving federal election after Diwali, an Alberta vote instead of before, means scores of MPs might be pension eligible even if they lose. So, this is how Trudeau is sneakily trying to gain back support of people even within his party to say, I'm going to purposely move the election date. We'll make up some story about how it's protecting this Indian holiday, Diwali, when really I'm moving it further along so that everyone can get higher pensions enacted even if they lose that election. So even if they get out of government, they're still making capital buck even not in power. This is another scandal within the Trudeau bag. This is another typical scandal within Canada. That they're purposely going to move the election day, make up some fictitious story of how we care about, this holiday all of a sudden. We got to respect the Indian people. We got to respect their holidays and move a federal election, not before, but after, purposely, to get high pensions. And let's see some of the 80 members that will get this high pension, even if they lose. So, here are the MPs who will qualify for a House of Commons pension under the proposed date changes. It says Atkinson Scott, CPC from Parry Sound, Muskoka. Anita Anand, Liberal Oakville. Janika Atwin, Liberal Fredericton. Taylor Backrach, NDP from the Skeena Bulkley Valley. Yvonne Baker from Etobicoke. Tony Badelli, the CPC, that's the Conservative Party. Jamie Bastille from Sydney, Victoria. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. So, this is how Justin Trudeau is deviously going to win these people over by saying, hey, I know you don't want me as the head leader. I know you think of me as a buffoon and an embarrassment to our political establishment. But I'm going to make a rule change, push the election further ahead. You're going to get a bunch of money even if you don't win this election. So you don't really have to do anything for the people. You don't have to actually earn their vote or get any chance to win the election because you're going to get a huge kickback. These are all narcissistic ghouls. These are all complete evil narcissistic ghouls. These are the type of people that go into politics. Just like I foolishly thought that, Bernie Sanders or AOC or any of the other people were going to actually change anything. No, there's a reason why they went into politics. There's a reason why they went into the position that they did. It's because of this. It's because they don't actually means to serve people. If they actually do want to serve people, then may I recommend being a volunteer or being a first responder. Anything that actually has obligation to serve the community. Because they don't. None of these people have the obligation to serve the community that they represent. Because, hey, if I lose the election, if I drop out, I'm still going to get a pension for being in politics. I don't care. I don't have to do anything because I'm still going to get the money. Just a deviant scam for Justin Trudeau. Cowardly gain respect for what little he has left. And perfect timing to do this now when we're a year or so away from our election. And just it just amazes me that we're just almost copying the exact same playbooks that we used to laugh about America for. I used to, before even starting this channel, before diving into politics, America was the butt of the jokes here in Canada. We always looked at them and said, oh, corruption, oh, chaos. That's a typical day here. At least we're a little bit better. Are we? Are we? Because it looks like Canada is just doing the exact same. It's literally the same coin, just a different face. And now here they are, complicit in their own scandal by purposely moving the election further down the block so they can cash in on their high pensions, extraordinary high pensions. While many Canadians here still are lining up at food banks, homeless, and barely making survive. Just how evilishly insane, insidious, whether it be in the White House or Parliament Hill. how ghoulish these people are.